So when I first went to Uganda, I was about 13, and so I was kind of shy, not really sure of what I was going to get from this trip at all. I was just kind of I was excited for sure, but I was terrified too. One day at God Cares, I was with my family, and I wouldn't leave their side for very long at all because I was, young and kind of scared. And some girls came up to me, and I just remember them asking if I sing, and I was like, a little bit, but not really. And I remember them just they started to sing a worship song, and they just kept pushing me to sing along. And I remember just singing probably the loudest I ever had, and with the most joy I'd ever sung, because I was worshiping with people who were truly just in love with who God was. And even though they were poor in the eyes of the world, they were just so rich, and I wanted to have some of their wealth, and that was probably the most heartwarming and close to God I've ever felt, and it was an amazing experience.
My husband was involved with Buyamba, and he invited me to come to visit the ministry with him, and I was really excited to support him. So he came with me, and I went with him. But I knew, and I told him right off the bat, that this is your ministry and this is my ministry. So I'll come to support your ministry, but don't ask me to give my heart to the children, because my heart is already taken with these babies. So he agreed, and when we got to the school, I went up to the office and spoke with a social worker and said, just let me do some office work. I'm really good with computers, databases. And so she pulled a pile off of her desk and sat me down on a table with a stack of papers about this tall, and she said, will you enter this information into the database? And I said, sure. So she showed me what to do. As it turned out, it was information about the children. So I got to know them by name. I know their parents, I know their history, I know whose parents died, whose parents didn't die, when they were born, everything about the children. And I felt like I got tricked. It's like the Lord wanted me to do this. He knew my heart was closed, and He was going to find a way to bring me about. So when I came home, all these kids were in my heart and in my head, and I couldn't get them out. So I asked Julie if I could help her somehow in the office again. So she invited me to come, and I continued to work on the database, and that was it. That's the story.
In 9th grade, summer before freshman year, I got to have the opportunity to go with Calvary Community Church to God Cares School, and it just totally wrecked my heart. It just totally captured my interest, captured my heart, captured my love. And so I remember one specific moment was pretty amazing, and that happened. We brought this whole container full of supplies. We had shoes. I remember we asked Calvary, all the members of Calvary, to take their shoes off and walk home barefoot instead. And so we had just this huge cargo container full of shoes. And so one of the biggest things we got to do was we got to help bring in members of the community, bring in members of the school, and fit them with shoes, and some of them for the first time in their lives. So I remember I was assigned to the 5 to 8 year olds, and obviously that's the best. And so I got to see these little kids just walking in, walking out, and after a while I was like, I need to help these kids put these shoes on. Some of them don't even know what to do. And so I walk out and I see this one little boy holding this little tiny pair of shoes, and he was so excited. And I walk up to him, and he's just standing there. He's just frozen in this crowd of people, and I was like, hey, can I help you put these shoes on? And he just stands there shaking because he's so excited, holding these 2 small shoes in his hand, and just looks at me and is just smiling, and he can't even get any words out, and he can't even move because he's just so excited. And that's an image I'll never ever forget in my life. And that's when God really moved through me, or God really captured my heart, and that was just an amazing moment. And got to help put these little tiny shoes on this kid, and got to see him walking away, just looking down at his feet while he's walking, just so excited. And looking at his feet, you could tell this was probably his first pair of shoes in his life, and that was that was where God really captured my heart.